Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Tuesday night, and while we have a little bit of free time on our hands, I thought it would be fun for us to do a live stream for our beloved video game themed YouTube channel. It's not going to be in the video game section of the YouTube channel. It's going to be in the live stream section of the YouTube channel, located conveniently under the video game review section of the YouTube channel. So tonight, we're not limited to, but we'll focus on, at least initially, one of the best arcade beat-em-ups ever made. That is the Simpsons arcade game. Now I'm wearing a blue shirt. Of course, this blue shirt has Sonic the Hedgehog on it. Bart Simpson in this game and in a lot of other 90s Simpsons merchandise would wear a blue shirt, which he would never wear on the TV show. On the TV show, he had earth tone clothes. And then for some reason, in a lot of the 90s stuff, like toys, just posters, t-shirts, that kind of stuff, Bart would always wear blue. And they actually made a joke about that on The Simpsons where, well, first of all, there was something where like a bull was going to charge Homer and he put Bart in front of him and said, let's get some calming blue. And Bart's like, I don't want a blue shirt. But then I think the most funny one, hey, Arrow, how the hell are you doing, man? Good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you got power. We're going to be playing some Simpsons Arcade by Konami. Konami. Either way, just referencing the Famicom jingle. Anyway, I'm just talking about Bart's blue shirt. So if you remember back in the day, Bart on the Simpsons TV show, and he still does, always wears earth tones, and on a lot of the 90s, early 90s merchandise would wear just total blue. So the episode where, there's an episode where Bart and Lisa get Itchy and Scratchy canceled, and they end up trying to get him back, get their favorite cartoon back on the air. And at the end, it's Lester and Eliza who end up getting Itchy and Scratchy back on the air. And Lester and Eliza have the character designs of the Tracy Ullman show, Bart and Lisa. And Lester, who's supposed to be like Bart, is wearing a blue shirt. So there's my long-winded, rambling introduction to just some random 90s Simpsons stuff. The Simpsons is one of my all-time favorite shows, as evidenced by my Homer Simpson over here. Diego, how you doing, man? My brother from another mother. I actually always put my giant Homer Simpson on these weights down here, so if like someone falls down the stairs, they don't hit the weights. And plus Homer's my friend here, right? So anyway, but sadly, I don't, and if you like The Simpsons now, that's cool, but I have like Simpsons on VHS tapes from 1997, 1998. I used to tape The Simpsons all the time. I have not watched an episode of The Simpsons in I don't know how long, and it's not because for any other reason than the fact that it's not funny. Yeah, I can't get through 2 minutes of the show without being so annoyed by it that I just turned the channel. So I don't want The Simpsons to be canceled now, but what I would like is for them just to show reruns of The Simpsons from the 90s in primetime. So do I. We're going to be playing The Simpsons tonight. They should just show Simpsons reruns from 1990 to 1999 in primetime, and then just do a couple new episodes a year, give the writers lots of time to come up with something fun, but how it is now, it's just terrible. The show has lost absolute touch with what it was that was special about the show, which was a warped commentary on mass culture. And it wasn't, people like to say that The Simpsons was, somehow like dissenting or radical or counterculture. I don't agree with that at all. I think The Simpsons was actually a pretty mainstream show. I mean, it might have been considered edgy back in like 1990 when, George H.W. Bush wanted to turn it into a talking point, and it was kind of juxtaposed. Hey, Kendrin. So I want to watch a DBZ and sub. but it's remastered in HD dub. What do I do? Watch the Dragon boxes. Well done, Arrow. Yeah, dude. There's uh different ways to watch Dragon Ball Z. Obviously, DVDs will let you just click on a Japanese mode, and that'll give you subtitles. I don't know what you're watching it on. Are you watching it on like Funimation or something like that? Better yet, watch the Dragon boxes with broadcast audio in them. Right on. Arrow, yeah, he's really good at tracking down obscure DBZs. Wait, so Kendron, you're watching it on TV, like on an on-demand service? Do you get the best possible visuals? Okay, so here's your issue. Okay, are you telling me that you want to watch Dragon Ball Z with HD remaster and really good sounding Japanese audio? Is that what you're saying? Because when Dragon Ball Z was originally released in Japan, it was done with mono. The audio quality to it was no on Funimation. Okay. Does Funimation have the subs? I don't have the Funimation app. If Funimation has a Japanese option, then use that. I don't know, man. How I watch my streaming anime, I don't have anything against Funimation. Yeah, it's better in sub, but don't look that good. Yeah, there's a reason for that, man. Yeah, so I think Arrow's on the right track with the box sets of the DVDs. So here's the deal. In Japan, when it was originally out, I personally like how it looked in Japan. You could always go to unofficial sites. Yeah, you could just be careful not to give your phone AIDS or your computer AIDS. Or Ebola or whatever. Or I guess it would be COVID in this day and age. But anyway, so here's the deal. Dragon Ball, when it was originally out, it looked pretty rough by today's standards. Now, I personally like it. I think it's kind of charming and it's got kind of a warmth to it. But yeah, it was on some pretty rough-looking film and it had mono audio. But the voice acting was a lot better and the music was a lot better. And then when Funimation brought it over back when I was your age, back in like 7th, 8th grade, they really cleaned it up. And a lot of the time they digitally, remastered it and all that other stuff just to make it be more palatable for American audiences. So, yeah. But, yeah, DVDs or just suck it up and watch the rough Japanese, I actually, like box sets are I think probably going to be the most convenient for you, but I've got some DBZ DVDs, so you can just head up to eBay, Google Shopping, Amazon, Walmart, see what you can find. There was a channel called K17 that had a few scavenged bits of film masters, looked absolutely beautiful. Ooh, cool. So Kendron, or just anyone who's interested in listening, I basically had my Dragon Ball Z taped off of often the international channel. So that's what I would do. And actually, why don't we have a little... I hope we don't get a strike or anything like that, but since we're talking, I won't show too much of it because I don't want to get in trouble. But, yeah, why don't we pop in a little bit of some Dragon Ball VHS right here. And, definitely we'll get some vaporwave going here. Black Magic M66. This, my friend, is a quality anime. As you can tell, I got it from a Video Circus. I got it from a rental store. Be Kind and Rewind. I see you have Big O and Earthy in DV. Yes, I do. Big O. Big O. Big O. This VCR is good. I have other VCRs that I just can't put tapes in. What do we have going on here? Looks like we've got some Korean show on right now. It's got the SBS logo in the corner. I binge on Dragon Ball. Forget how good. Yeah, dude, Dragon Ball is freaking amazing. It's absolutely my favorite anime. My only criticism of it is I'm annoyed that Gohan didn't beat Majin Buu in the end. But other than that, it's really good. I'm entering a contest through Shonen Jump right now. I almost certainly will not win, but I'm going to give it my all. That Akira Toriyama is the judge of. So, hopefully that goes well. The deadline for that is September 1st. Here's the page I'm working on right now. A spider gets dropped in a women's history seminar filled with militant feminists, and they start freaking out. This is what's going on in this panel right here. So, it's insane how different Korean actors look. Yeah, it is. Now they're all like having like crazy plastic surgery and stuff, but back in the 90s, they just look like normal people. Okay, stop. All right.
Fast and easy. Millions of people have used Metabolite 356.
Ooh, Metabolite 356.
Gladly paying up to $50 a bottle. Now you can get all the same active ingredients of Metabolite and
This is International Channel. It was so awesome. They just had these cheesy, awesome commercials all the time.
Your energy and stamina. Premier Diet ZXPM is specially formulated to help you relax and enjoy a restful night's sleep while still keeping your metabolism in high gear.
Cool, cheesy commercials and Japanese anime raw from Japan were subtitled and Hey Music Champ. It was just like the best thing ever.
And a free bottle of Premier Diet ZXPM every month for 4 months. That's a
yes, I can't find it.
Right now.
Can you believe it? I lost 9 inches.
Yes, yeah, hello there. What? Why does that girl have, like, her eyes blacked out? Yeah, this is how Dragon Ball looked. This is one of my all-time favorite episodes. This is, like, Gohan getting blackmailed to go on a date. I love like, I identify with Gohan. Like, he's the character that I most look up to in anime. See, I even have a Gohan. Where are you? There you go. He's hanging from my ceiling. See? Next to Noam Chomsky and a Street Fighter G.I. Joe thing. Oh, and my original Legend of Zelda art and Chrono Trigger insert. So, yeah. All this COVID stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. All this COVID stuff's lover, you should go to Japan and do a blog. Yeah. I know. I miss watching International Channel. Yeah, I would love to go to Japan. I've met some cool YouTubers that live. I've met people through YouTube who live in Japan and have some cool channels, like Gaijillionaire and Kids Show Ryuken. It's of interest to you. There's a $10 capture card. I gotta get something, man. First of all, my laptop is not good. The only laptop that I have that's any good is my work laptop. It's a Chromebook that all the teachers got. And I basically plastered it with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stickers. So hopefully the school doesn't mind, because I'll probably have to give it back at some point. I just really wanted to customize it, get some JoJo stickers on there. That's what I did to my cool Trinitron TV. I JoJo'd it up with, Gold Experience Requiem and Crazy Diamond and Star Platinum. All right, anyway. There's also a few laptops. Dude, I gotta just get a laptop that doesn't suck. Dude, I need to just get something stable. I'm gonna take the laptop I have to get repaired, and we'll just see what happens. Yes. So anyway, this is how. Do you watch any new anime? I do. Except the newest anime I watch is really religiously is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is based on manga from the 80s and 90s. What's some new anime that I watch? Yeah, I don't know. I do, but I love One Punch Man. So whenever I see One Punch Man, I watch that. I'm a big fan of One Punch Man. So I'd say the new anime that I'm most into right now is One Punch Man and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What am I looking for on a good laptop? I'm looking. I have a Piccolo Funko Pop. The only problem is that my son just takes toys and grabs them and starts playing with them. So like anything I get that I don't want hurt, I have to just literally like glue onto TVs and stuff. Like I have Mario and Sailor Moon over here, and it's like I don't want Santino messing with them, so I'll put him on this monitor here. This is a nice monitor. You got Gohan on it, so yes. Mortal Kombat 2. There we go. Okay, so we've been talking for like 16 minutes and have not played any video games. Here's more Simpsons. Here's more Dragon Ball right here. So yeah. New anime, JoJo and One Punch Man. Tiger and Bunny, I've seen some of and really like. There was a Tiger Mask anime that was fairly new that I really liked. That was being shown on Pluto TV. That was cool. It had like Bullet Club in it, and it was cool stuff. What the hell is wrong with Sailor Moon? I know. The reason I bought it is because it's so weird looking. I got this at the comic shop. I got Attack on Titan. That is a good. I do watch Attack on Titan. I love Attack on Titan. That is some good stuff. In fact, I have an Attack on Titan snapback. Let's go on a field trip. I remember one of my first subbing jobs. I did a long-term sub for 8th grade social studies, and this one girl wanted to be funny and was like wearing a Hillary Clinton mask, and I'm like, that looks like the thing that ate Aaron Yeager's mom, because it was like really scary looking. Nothing against Hillary Clinton per se. I'm just saying that a student of mine wore an Attack on Titan, wore a Hillary Clinton mask that looked like the Titan that ate Aaron Yeager's mom. So, I'm like way behind on Attack on Titan. I love it. I've seen I saw all the first season and thought it was one of the freaking coolest things ever. And then I saw parts of I think like the second or third season. I tried to catch it on Toonami when I could. I watched a new anime called Rent a Girlfriend. It's romantic. I've heard that's a good anime. I've heard Rent a Girlfriend is a good anime. I want to say that people. Yeah, she watched Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that Tokyo Ghoul is really good. Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm always down for suggestions. But yeah, I would say the two biggest animes that I enjoy watching are I've seen every Dragon Ball ever, except I haven't seen all of the Dragon Ball the Dragon Ball Heroes like little short anime that's just kind of like random animated shorts from the arcade game. Like, I haven't seen that, but I've seen all of Super, I've seen all of GT, I've seen all of Z, and I've seen all of the original, and I really, really, really am a huge fan. But again, I'm still pissed off that Gohan is not as strong as he should be. So, first and second seasons are good, third and fourth one are not that good, and I wouldn't recommend them, but if you want to, go ahead. Is it over? And if it is over, I've heard that the mangaka got a lot of crap on Twitter. Although everyone gets crap on Twitter. Stay off of Twitter. So, I'm not on Twitter. I have no desire to be on Twitter. One of the things I do is I watch just different like kind of nerd news YouTube videos, and they're just always talking about how Twitter is just people treating each other like crap, and I was like, I mean, that's not fun. So social media should be like cool, chill space, not unhinged loon space. Tiger GT box. It's not a waste of money. It's not good compared to Z, but I would definitely keep that safe because GT's got some good music. It's well animated. It's got a rare OVA, not a rare OVA. It's got a TV special with Goku Jr. that's pretty decent. And I think the character designs on it are good, but the story is disappointing. But yeah, keep it safe or give it to me. So you should watch an anime called Genshiken about college students that are in an anime club. Interesting. Very interesting. I've heard Gridman is also good. It's I like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, and there's basically an anime based on that. So that sounds cool as well. All right. All right. Let's play a little Simpsons here. And that was our some chatting. That was some fun. And let's get down to it. We'll just adjust our camera a little, like so. Anime called... I think I've heard of that anime. Do they play Street Fighter in that? If so, I've heard it's good. Local game. Japanese ROM.
Homer.
And we'll be Homer. So this game is based on the first season of The Simpsons through a Japanese prism, and it's really fun. Smithers, who is like Mr. Burns' assistant who's in love with him, he is this bad guy who kidnaps Maggie, and Mr. Burns is like the big bad guy. And Homer and his family have to brawl their way to Springfield to help find Maggie. Santino is being naughty upstairs, I can hear. Sadly, this game is no longer available on the PlayStation Network. Okay, can you put it a little to the left? Down that the chat's... Oh, yeah, sure. Hang on a second. This way? Is that better? Or do you want it more this way? What works for you, man? Is that good? You could also watch a comic party anime about doujinshi. Yes, that does sound good. Is that good, or should we like move it more like this? Streets of Rage, but The Simpsons. Yes, it is. Let's go like this way here. I think this is probably going to be our best bet. So, all right. If you're watching on YouTube, there should also be a little chat thing at the bottom, too, that you can keep up with. All right, back to it. Yes, this is like Streets of Rage with The Simpsons, and it's really good. This is sadly no longer available on the PlayStation Store because, Fox got bought by Disney, and everyone's just super anal about copyrights and getting every last drop of blood from a property. God forbid anyone get anything for free or get anything without, I don't know, these billion-dollar companies getting every little penny that they can get, which is, I guess, why they're billion-dollar companies, They didn't get rich by being generous. Yeah, there was a window when this game was available for download on PlayStation and Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And yeah, it's freaking awesome. I saw this and jumped at the chance. I'm a big fan of 90s Simpsons. Fun fact, Marge Simpson was originally supposed to be a rabbit. Maybe she is a rabbit. I don't know. This game can have up to 4 players, and it is very fun. You can actually find the Simpsons arcade game at Robot City Arcade in Binghamton, New York, which is the biggest arcade video game store in New York State. So if you see a lot of, those really cool videos in places like Akihabara, and people go into places like Super Potato and whatnot, that's basically small town New York's answer to that. And it's very, very nice. And actually, there's a video of my channel where I'm there, and in the arcade section there, they have a whole bunch of arcades, including Simpsons the Arcade. Good stuff. But this version, you don't run out of quarters. So everything's good with the screen. Yeah, that's good. Okay, here we go. So apparently everything's good with the screen. Bonus stage. Hit the buttons. So I also heard originally that Homer was supposed to be Krusty, but that was a dropped plot idea. Krusty. I'm playing this on the PlayStation 3. Where dreams come true, the PlayStation 3. Like I said, this is also available on the 360. I'm sure you can play this on MAME arcade emulator, but that's going to require a PC, which if you're a PC gamer, go for it. I have no problem with PC gaming. I'm just a console person. I like consoles. I like collecting consoles. So that's what I'm just into. Although, I think consoles are really plateauing. And I don't know whether it's an age thing. I'm getting, as I get older, I appreciate the older stuff more and the newer stuff less. Or just some of the newer stuff just isn't as good. The newest game I've played is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I really like it a lot. I really have to do more with it. I'm just doing my comic contest, and I keep ordering 90s repro RPGs off of Etsy for the Super Famicom. I actually just ordered Dragon Quest VI today in a white cartridge. So I'm looking forward to getting that. So, yeah, I don't know. The AAA titles are becoming fewer and far between, and I think their quality is, I don't know. Final Fantasy VII Remake is fantastic. And then then it's just kind of like, there's, people will say like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima is really good. I haven't played that. People say Last of Us 2 is horrible, or, they either love it or hate it kind of thing. But I know for sure Final Fantasy VII Remake's good. But the thing is, it's like, there's just not a lot of them. And then, the other new games that I'll play are just things that I see on Switch from Japan that I think look interesting. But, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know. I think a lot of the newer games are going to be more, a lot of stuff of the kind of Switch Steam variety that you can just kind of pump out digitally. I mean, a lot of the big video game companies, I don't know, the Japanese ones, they get really, they're, I think, tending to focus more on mobile gaming and pachinko, and, they'll still put out some really good stuff. A lot of it's on the Switch. And then every once in a while you'll get something awesome on, PlayStation or whatever, but I don't know, back when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, GameStop was just, the GameStop, Walmart, all that stuff, it was like, there was a lot more, it seemed like there was a lot more variety in terms of hard copy than there is now. But I don't know, maybe it could just be because I haven't been in GameStop in a while either. So, I don't know. But when I go into GameStop, usually what I'll buy is I'll just buy, RPGs or games that are a few years old that I think are interesting that I can get at a good price. But I have this thing where I buy RPGs and then never play them. And then just accumulate a huge back catalog. I don't know, man. I see the artwork. I think they look awesome. I know the stories are going to be cool. And I have a job and a family, I've heard the first Last of Us is awesome. Aesthetic materials a lot more than raw graphic. Agreed. I've heard the first Last of Us is really, really good. I'm a big fan of Uncharted 4. So yeah, I've heard the reason that people dislike the second Last of Us so much is because they take what was good about the first Last of Us and then and they just throw it all in the toilet pretty much, I know they kill the cool protagonist off for shock value. I know the development of the game was really bad. I've heard, workers were not treated ideally. And then I know that, the powers that be at Naughty Dog and Sony also really acted unjustly in terms of bullying and blocking people on YouTube and trying to manipulate critic scores. And the thing about The Last of Us 2 seemed to do is that it really kind of had the interesting byproduct of really solidifying how corrupt media can be, not in video game media as well. A lot of the problematic trends in mass media where you have the reporters are part of the same class as the politicians that they cover, and they're beholden to politicians and interest in groups for things like access. So they all just kind of work in tandem with each other. They work together to try to help each other, unless you really don't follow etiquette or try to go into business for yourself. And then all of a sudden the media and the politician are at war with each other all the time. But the gaming media all seem to really like Last of Us and really seem to bully the people that didn't. And then, a lot of people who played the first Last of Us really loved it, like, Starchy's saying there, "Hey, Dakota, how's it going? We're playing the Simpsons." And so, yeah, there's a big disconnect between the gamer score and the critic score, and I know that from all the different reports that I've seen that Naughty Dog management was really just trying to manipulate any kind of media and like Metacritic and things like that to try to punish people who didn't like the game, didn't like the game's opinion. I know they didn't like stalk the people to their house, but they tried to silence them and their scores, their voices, that kind of thing, their perspectives. So I don't know. Yeah, the game itself seemed like really disappointing. How do I get back in here? Ah, stop. There we go. The game seemed disappointing from a variety of angles. So I don't really have any desire to play the second one, but I've heard the first one is really good. Although I'm just not, I don't know, I'm not that into zombie stuff right now. I'm not opposed to it in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I've got a little buddy, I've got like a 3-year-old, and I don't want him getting scared and nonsense and stuff like that. Plus, a lot of zombie stuff can just kind of be like nihilistic bullshit, but at the same, like, just do what's good for you and then be brutal to everyone else. But it sounds like the first Last of Us is about, Joel and Ellie, kind of finding their humanity in each other in the apocalypse, which is a cool premise. The forced politics seems kind of lame. That's one thing about, Japanese media. It's like, they have the most diverse stuff in manga. They have manga for, every genre, every romantic persuasion, and it's not political, like, at all. It's just got a huge creative range to it, And they don't have to shove politics down people's throats. It's about the creativity. And about reaching a broad audience, having lots of niche audiences and whatnot.
Get more water. Go. Go, go, go. 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 It's bedtime. Go, 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 go.
Come on, come on. Homer's throwing hands here. Ooh, bonus. We're gonna go to Moe's. So if you look at this, a lot of this is all... they're all referencing episodes from season 1 of The Simpsons. Which is really, really good stuff. These games from Japan really paid a lot of attention to the detail and the content of these American properties. Like the early Marvel vs. Capcom games and X-Men games, that you could really tell the game creators read the comics, paid attention to the art style, and really in the cartoons, and really did a great job of transferring those into video games. So here, they're basically taking the Japanese beat-em-up formula, and filtering the Simpsons through that, and they're doing a really great job, and doing it in a way that really pays attention to, the episodes and the locales of the show. And just giving it a nice dose of Japanese video game and fighting culture. Bleeding Gums Murphy's quite the jazz musician. Hey kids, it's Grandpa Murphy. Oh, we have 3 grandpas already. This one's a great jazz musician. Oh, they all are. Oh. You see, the kids, they listen to the rap music, which gives them the brain damage. With their hipping and the hopping and their bipping and the bopping, which won't let them know what the jazz is all about. You see, jazz is a lot like a Jell-O pudding pop. No, jazz is like Kodak film. Actually, jazz is like the new Coke. It'll be around forever. Heh heh heh. Alright. Moe's is really not this big on the show, but I don't know. You never know. Maybe Moe's, this is like Flaming Moe's, where he had an extension for the Red Hot Chili Peppers to perform at. Red Hot Chili Peppers also a dangerous stand in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 4. What's the stream going to? I don't know. I like my streams. I mean, they usually go anywhere between 90 minutes to 3 hours. It just depends on how awake I am, how much audience I have. What's the conversation like? Not that there needs to be conversation for the stream to go long. I'm just saying, if people are if we're just talking and losing track of time, that's gonna probably lead to the stream going longer. But if it's just me and a couple of people just having fun, and then I'm starting to get tired, and then I'll just wrap it up. Or if I've got stuff to do, or I have to get up early the next day, So usually my streams go between 90 minutes and 3 hours. And we're definitely going to beat all of this game for sure, so. It's funny. Obviously now with all the health concerns, I think it's wise to stay in as much as possible. But I really did like going to GameStop when it was, easier to go out. I'm sure, I believe GameStop's back open now. A lot of, YouTube personalities really all, kind of crap on GameStop. And I'm sure GameStop's management is, the corporate policies and whatnot are not good. And I know that, those kinds of companies in certain markets can be very not good with their employees. You got to make sales or you're bullied or that kind of thing. But at least the atmosphere in the Cortland GameStop is really nice. I like going there. It's cool to chat with the people there, and they have a nice selection of games and some nice action figures and T-shirts. Which is it's cool. The people say, "Oh yeah, GameStop's trying to be Hot Topic." It's yeah, okay, good. I just don't understand why people like to complain about good stuff. It's oh wow, there's a store that sells video games and anime shirts and statues. Wow, that's really terrible. I don't know. People just like to complain. They just don't know how to be happy, which is not good. It's oh yeah, we're living in all this prosperity, I'm bored with it. Give me less. It's Sideshow Bob. Before he framed Krusty for murder and tried to kill Bart every season. Actually, I think my favorite Sideshow Bob episode is one with Sideshow Cecil, where he's a good guy. Tell them you'll live to regret this. You'll live to regret this. Oh, now I sound like the crazy one. But I saved the children. Cecil? I think not. This looks like the work of crazy old Sideshow Bob. He's innocent, Chief. Innocent, eh? That sounds like the testimony of crazy old Lisa Simpson. So there was a whole episode where the Simpsons went camping and Maggie was living with bears. And this is the bear that Maggie was living with. Ooh, a burger. The Simpsons, where they went to Japan, is quite good. The Simpsons was excellent from 90 to 95. It's really hilarious. There was never a bad episode from, I would say, 1992 to 1998. And even then, I would say The Simpsons was still coming into its own throughout 1990. At the time, there was never really anything like it, so it was really, really funny and stood out and was really unique. But compared to episodes starting when Conan O'Brien became a writer, the episodes weren't as good. But they were still very, very cute and fun, and definitely had a unique sense of humor. And then, around late 98, you started getting some weird episodes that were not consistently funny. They did a musical episode, and I was like, what is this, And then 99 was really good more often than not. I'd say 99 was good. The episodes were maybe changing in tone a little bit, but I really liked them still. By tone, I mean, I don't know, the humor didn't come off quite as effortless as it did in previous years. It seemed like they were trying really hard to be funny and still succeeding, but it just didn't seem always as natural. If that makes sense. And then around 2000, it was just the show started getting hit and miss. And then as the years went on, it just got more and more miss to the point where there's just no more hit. So the show's just written for its writers to just, I don't know. I'm not opposed to writing a show for yourself, but I'm just saying that the show has taken a direction that I don't find interesting. I mean, like, when I make comics that it's like, this is a TV show that I would want to watch. You know, like that's my mentality when I make comic books. And I don't make a lot of, I mean, I'm making one now, and I think it's probably the best comic I've made. But I've only really I've made a couple of comic books. I draw a lot of comic book and manga art. But, you know, I drew one comic book in 2014. And then I drew another one in 2016. And now I'm drawing one in 2020. And, you know, I'd like to draw, you know, I'd like to have my comic booking be more consistent. But, you know, when I draw comics, especially with the one I'm making now, it's like, okay, I watch a lot of TV. And I see some movies. And it's like, this is what I would want my TV and movie to be. So I'm not like angry at the Simpsons writers for making a show for themselves. I'm just saying, like, they made a show that had a lot better range they had a wider audience and higher quality of humor back in the 90s, and now it's like they write the shows for themselves and they're just not very funny. You know, the show's written for, like, you know, 60-year-old yuppies who vote Democrat and read the New York Times. And that's just what it is, you know. Which is, I mean, you know, you can read whatever you like and vote however you like. I'm just saying that the humor has gotten much more narrow and bad. So. Hey, Nick! Nuclear power plant. That is a great one. Mr. Burns. The only ship worth a damn is the friendship. Ooh, I lost a nail. Ran a bit one of my trademark changes of heart. The Pin Pals. You know, people think that The Simpsons is like a raunchy show. It's really not. I mean, you know, there's this, like, you know, there's some silly humor of, like, you know, Bart mooning people or Homer mooning people, but The Simpsons doesn't really coast on shock humor. It was, again, I think, compared to other shows at the time. I mean, in the 90s, the family sitcom was in semi-decline, and then ultimately did decline by the end of the decade, which is really sad because I love family sitcoms. At least in prime time, it definitely declined. And so some of those family sitcoms were more following the 80s formula of, you know, okay, this is a working middle-class family, and they're living in harmony and prosperity, and then there's absurd situations that they deal with, and that's the formula. But The Simpsons was more like doing that, but warped social commentary and pointing out the absurdities in just how people acted, but not in necessarily a condescending way. I mean, I think you could argue that some of the liberal, you know, kind of anti-man stuff was there when they were writing Homer, but they wrote him so likable. It's like, yeah, I mean, he was like a stupid jerk, but he was so funny that it was just, like, endearing. And he became the most popular character on the show. You know, and he was never all bad, so. There's always that point where Noel talks and he can't anymore because he's laughing too hard. Yes.
Hey, wake up, ready?
Wow, fourth? I did worst out of all my family in terms of being smacked in the face. Channel 6 with Kent Brockman. I like all the... The news has got Maggie as a missing person, and Mr. Burns clearly denying it in the background. That he has, in fact, kidnapped Maggie. Another great episode is the one where Homer and Mr. Burns are trapped in an avalanche. And they start getting cabin fever and then attack each other with imaginary snowmen and political powers. Stand back. I've got powers. Political powers. And like there's like the ghosts of Mao and Gandhi and JFK behind Homer. And Abe Lincoln. Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, there's a whole genre of vaporwave called Simpsons wave. I mean, like, this is my thing with vaporwave. I really like it, but I don't like it ironically. I just like it, you know? And I'm not liking it as like, oh, this is the decay of capitalism. Let's all just be together and, you know, find camaraderie in our mutual despair. It's like, no, that's whiny, stupid bullshit. I just like the soft hum of a VHS tape and the warmth that the visuals and the sound bring, and I like the visual. I like things like tracking lines and kind of muffled noise, and I mean there is that kind of interesting tension between, you know, vibrance, timelessness, and age, like, and then mix that with like cool synthesizer-y music. So I mean, and I'm someone who has a good deal of sympathy for Marxist theory and socialism. Definitely you need to pay attention to the terrible things that have happened in the name of those things. But I can definitely see like merits and aspects of the theories and, you know, study them on an intellectual level. But I don't particularly see vaporwave as being anti-capitalist either. People will say like it's pointing out the ironies and banality of capitalism. And I mean, I think it's more just looking at the aesthetic of capitalism, or at least that's how I look at it, you know. And I think the aesthetics of capitalism are great. If you like socialism, you're not going to have any kind of socialism that works without everything that works about capitalism being present in it. That means worker incentive, that means self-sufficiency, that means creativity, that means the generation of new wants and needs of new products. The idea would be you would just want to try to eliminate some of the negative aspects of capitalism, like you know, making sure everyone gets a fair wage, and you know, not having people be so manipulated through advertising, no outsourcing of jobs, you know, for cheap labor, like that kind of thing. But you know, if you're gonna anything resembling any kind of socialism has to have all of the things that work about capitalism in it, and if it doesn't, then you just got to stick with capitalism until it does, because that's just, I mean, you have to live in the real world, and you have to do what works. You know, you can't just like will your way into a situation. I mean, obviously, there's the whole imperialist aspect of nation states, and you know, capitalism certainly has its own forms of imperialism that need to be challenged. With that, but I mean, any kind of imperialism needs to be challenged too, you know. So I mean, I'm just talking like broadly. So I mean, I'm definitely not an apologist for any particular economic system. I've got I can see the pot. You have to have a synthesis between you know, capitalism and socialism, but I think ultimately have the ideals be socialistic in terms of, you know, having the working class's interests be at the center of things, but utilize what capitalism does well, its vibrant culture, its creativity, its prosperity. You just want to make sure that it's you just want to make sure that those things are at the center, in my opinion. I don't like these, you know, quote-unquote socialists who are just, like, all about identity politics and forcing their opinions on other people. Like, that's not good for anyone. And, you know, I mean, my preferred, I mean, I think social democracy is, you know, the way to go as far as having a model of government where you take care of your people for sure, and you do it in a multi-party democratic system. this cool kabuki dancer and ninjas right here. There's an early episode of The Simpsons where Homer was... There's this babysitter who is like a robber called the Babysitter Bandit. And at the end, Homer's like, I tried to fight her, but it was quite a struggle. But now, I know your moves. Like, I know this kid, I'm not going to name names. But, I don't know, I heard him talking about like how he could beat up this adult who runs one of the martial arts gyms. And he's like, I know his moves now, so I can beat him up. It's like, no, you can't. Not even a little bit. But I know his moves now. Oh no, Smithers. So we're headed toward the nuclear plant. Is this the final boss? I like evil Japanese Smithers. Welcome to my world. There were some, like, palette changes here and there. Like, Moe had black hair sometimes in the first season. Barney had blonde hair in the first season. Smithers at one point early on had like tan skin and blue hair. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. The designs were generally stable. Like early on in the Tracy Ullman show, like '87, the designs looked really different. I mean, you could tell like who the characters were, but you know, Bart had a lot more spikes in his hair. The characters were less kind of cute and round and more, I don't know, they just looked more rough. There's a great Simpsons episode where it was one of the ones where Troy McClure was hosting and answering letters from a mailbag, and they basically showed early episodes of early Simpsons skits from Tracy Ullman on there. And it was really interesting. That's actually I remember I watched Tracy Ullman when my mom was putting herself through her master's degree. So I did a lot of, like, I was, like, home alone a lot when I was in, like, the 3rd grade. And I was very responsible. So responsible that my mom bought me a Sega Genesis. But I'd watched a lot of Tracy Ullman show and Moonlighting and Judge shows. And I remember seeing The Simpsons on Tracy Ullman show, but I really have my first really vivid memories of The Simpsons from that episode where Troy McClure is answering fan letters. Come on, Homer. Well, Smithers, will you go down, Smithers? Mr. Burns is clearly watching from that painting. That should do it. Here comes the final boss. Family Guy's changed like 3 times. Hang on, let me pause it. See what Nick's saying here. It seems that way in many cartoons. Yeah, Family Guy's definitely gotten a lot cleaner look to it as time has gone on. I have not watched Family Guy in a minute. I probably haven't watched Family Guy since like 2014. I mean, I like it, but I mean, this is the deal with Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane is one of the most talented people around in mass culture, but I also think he can be vain and mean-spirited in terms of his humor, and kind of just clumsy and kind of shove it down your throat with the politics. But at the same time, he's got very interest, and his takes on religion are just really flat-footed, and like you don't have. He's just got that like he's like, oh, I'm a snarky atheist, f you kind of aspect to himself. But all that being said, I think his artwork is great, and I think his commentary on some political issues is interesting, and what's best about Seth MacFarlane is how he combines his comedy with his observations about pop culture, and then how he's able to take his observations about pop culture and then turn them into funny references to really make his stories better. And he really is good at making some really likable, cute characters, and then combining that likable cuteness with college guy humor. And so all that's really good, but he can also just get pretentious and annoying when it comes to his politics, and downright mean-spirited when it comes to disabled people. I mean, he's just got, like, I can tell, he's just one of those, like, Cards Against Humanity's people who lives the life, you know? He's just, like, if he does it, it's cool. If it's done to him, it's offensive. And, you know, it's just that typical, like, Nietzschean liberal type of attitude where it's like, me and my kind of cosmopolitan way of doing things is the way to do things. And I can enforce my will on other people in the most kind of brilliant, audacious way possible. And if I hurt your feelings, oh well, it doesn't matter because I'm just audacious and I'm the overman, kind of thing. But turned into kind of a farcical way of doing it as just being this kind of doofus, kind of this kind of nerdy guy in, current day America. So, I mean, anyway, so long story short, I just kind of got tired of Seth MacFarlane's bullshit and started watching Columbo reruns, and I haven't looked back since. I love Columbo. I love him so much. I really liked American Dad a lot, because a lot of the time American Dad would tell the Republican point of view through a liberal medium, but really treat the Republican point of view with respect. And it, I think, produced the most intelligent humor out of the MacFarlane shows. But I don't know. I'd say, Family Guy didn't really. Its heyday wasn't much longer than the. I mean, there was a point in time where the Family Guy was just torching the Simpsons in terms of quality. I mean, The Simpsons was horrible, and Family Guy was like the funniest show on TV. Now Family Guy, like, I haven't seen it in a while, but I just kind of got, again, I thought it just got too preachy and too mean-spirited. But I like it. I mean, I still like. I like the good episodes. Like where Peter made his own A-team, and that kind of. Brian had to go back to school. I mean, I used to have great times going to my best friend's house. We'd like watch Family Guy, Music Station. Yeah, I agree with your timeline on Family Guy not being funny anymore. I like American Dad because I'm an American dad. Yeah. Aw, all the good guys. And Bart with his blue shirt. And that, my friends, is the ending to The Simpsons. Like the whole game kind of cutting off a little bit of the bottom of the screen. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying or off-putting that we didn't get to see the bottom half inch of the screen. But yeah, no, this is really good. I mean, this game itself is better than the last 5 seasons of The Simpsons. The sad thing about The Simpsons is that The Simpsons has been on so long, and I don't want The Simpsons to get canceled. I said this early on in the stream. I want The Simpsons to show reruns of the episodes from 1990 to 1999 on Fox in primetime at 8 o'clock, and then, you know, maybe like 2-3 times a year do like new episodes, like have like an hour episode or something like that you really put a lot of effort into to make sure it doesn't suck, you know? And then like just do that with The Simpsons. So, but The Simpsons has been not funny longer than it has been funny. There we have it, guys. That is The Simpsons. So, I'm thinking next we should play another classic Konami beat 'em up, and we should play X-Men, the arcade game, which is very, very good. I don't know if I played that on the stream or not, X-Men, the arcade game, but that's another game that Konami made, and it was out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 for a minute, and then again, you know, copyright issues. Again, I think Disney was involved. This probably happened around the time Disney had acquired Marvel. I know Disney acquired Fox and Marvel, and then all of a sudden they just had like a vice grip on all the properties, and you know they just wanted to make sure. I don't have Simpsons Hit and Run actually. This is the only Simpsons game I have. I don't have any of the Simpsons 16-bit games or 8-bit games. So this is the best Simpsons game in my opinion. So, you know, but I don't have any other Simpsons games. I'm not opposed to getting more Simpsons games, but these are the Simpsons games that I have. That's the Simpsons game that I have, and it is, I think, the Simpsons game. If you're going to play any Simpsons game, it should be that one right there. So, right on. Take another sip of coffee. We got our international channel tape going in the background. It's playing a Fuji TV drama. I think this one is this is Summer Romance, I think. It's about like a bus driver. So, yeah, good times are being had by all. Good deal. Yeah, it's cool. Like those Japanese TV shows. Hit and Run was my childhood, man. Good. I know there's some Simpsons games. No, I was just seeing, like on this Game Gear poster here, if they had any cool Simpsons games, but they don't. They've got Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing and Shakan the Forever Man. Oh, I'll show you guys something funny. So, I had ordered a Batman Returns Famicom cartridge from Spain because there's this guy on Etsy who sells Famicom cartridges, and honestly, a lot of the times with Famicom carts and these older games, sometimes it's not a bad idea to go the repro route because sometimes, like, when you buy old games, they can be kind of dirty, and then you don't realize it, you pop them in your console, and then they can get a little, you know, rough, or, you know, like, I don't know, like you can get a better price on a repro than on a newer game, or sometimes like I said, the repro is just better for your consoles. Anyway, so I saw on Etsy this guy makes. I got a Sweet Home Famicom game with the English translation, which, you know, that was never released in the United States initially. Sweet Home is the game that Resident Evil is based on, and he uses real Famicom cartridges, and so this is Sweet Home, authentic Famicom cartridge with the English language translation. So I saw in his store that he had Batman Returns, so I ordered that as well, and it's very nice, a beautiful cartridge, But when you pop it in your Famicom, it's not Batman Returns from Konami, it's Batman from Sunsoft. So I've got this Batman, and Batman from Sunsoft is a really good game, but I've got the cartridge, the Famicom cartridge of Batman Returns that plays Sunsoft's original Batman game. So I don't know, man. This was just funny. My wife's like, "You got a package from Spain," and I've been waiting for this game for a long time, and it finally came, and it's got the wrong game inside of it. So I don't know. Whatever. It's all good. I'll happily take Batman. I'll happily take Batman from Sunsoft, but it's weird. It's like, there's a Simpsons joke here. This is a very rare photo of Sean Connery signed by Roger Moore. This is a very rare Batman Returns cartridge with the original Batman game inside of it. So, anyway, good stuff. Why don't we play some X-Men from Konami? And then we'll see where we're at. PlayStation 3 has a lot of really nice arcade games on it. I'm just seeing where we're at in terms of time. It's 11:19. Been streaming for about an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully a good time is being had by all. We'll scoot our camera. Like so. Head on back. But yeah, Nick, I would totally agree with you that Family Guy... That's around the time I stopped watching Family Guy. It was around 2013, 2014. I just thought the quality was really... it just wasn't as funny. But, man, American Dad, that's got some really good stuff. I love the stuff with Steve, where he's, like, just being this nerdy 80s music person. Like, when he and his friends formed, B12, and they started off the show doing that New Edition song at the pizza place. Why you all coming down on me? It's supposed to be Toshi and Steve. If I got the girl, who cares who you are? Cool it down. So yeah, that's good stuff. The B12 music video from American Dad is just great. I mean, the amount of stuff my best friend and I had laughed about American Dad. I also like the Rapture's Delight episode. Might be out of date of Family Guy, but it was the whole killing Brian off and bringing him back. I thought it was kind of dry. That was kind of weird. I mean, it was still funny after that, but you are right. I think that was kind of like a semi-shark jump. Incidentally, I just saw a commercial today that MeTV's playing the Shark Jump Happy Days episode, so... X-Men. I am Magneto, Master of Magnet. This was based on the Pride of the X-Men 1989 X-Men pilot episode that was on a Marvel Comics cartoon block. I do remember seeing this when I was about 5 years old, and then never seeing it again. And then I remember a local comic shop, their commercials would play the opening to it. And then in the early 90s, like when I was in like 2nd, 3rd grade, I was in love with X-Men. And I was super fascinated with the X-Men's 80s outfits. And it was really the heyday. People like Rob Silvestri and Jim Lee were making these beautiful designs that really synthesized manga and Marvel Comics and anime. So it was really just great stuff. And I was a big fan of the X-Men animated cartoon. I did kind of always think to myself, like, the comics are like better, they're like more authentic than the cartoon. But I really loved the cartoon, and the cartoon really did a great job of telling original stories sometimes. You know, like there's like the whole like episode. I believe it like inspired the Age of Apocalypse, the one where you know, Storm and Wolverine were like a couple, and Storm had her mohawk, and they were like preventing Professor X from getting assassinated in the '60s. So it's like it was just really good, and honestly, like some of the comics stuff was, I think, nicely distilled into the episodes of the animated of this cartoon from. But I think that the animation was nowhere near. It was not bad, definitely by today's standards. Some of the stuff you see today on American cartoons is really, really shoddy. Like they'll just, you know, they'll have some method to the madness, but try to make the cartoons as like just cheaply drawn as possible. And I mean, at least with the '90s X-Men cartoon, they made an effort to, you know, have the designs be on point with the comic books. But compared to Pride of the X-Men, which was done by Toei Animation, which, I mean, like, basically, this was an X-Men anime with the 80s designs. You know, but then after that, they decided to use this Korean animation studio. I think it was called Acom. And the quality of animation was very hit and miss. It was mediocre to hit and miss, but, I mean, it was still good. You know, it was always enjoyable. But, I mean, definitely, you know, when you compare that to, like, the comic books at the time, and the comic books were, like, head and shoulders above in terms of image quality. You know, that, I mean, like, in Japan, you know, like, they really pay attention to that kind of thing. They make the cartoons match the comics in terms of visual quality. But, yeah, I don't know. So, X-Men, I love X-Men. X-Men is by far my favorite American comic book. Wolverine is my all-time favorite superhero. I love the X-Men, the animated series. I think it's maybe the best American action cartoon ever. I love the 90s, 80s, and 90s X-Men. I love 60s and 70s X-Men comics too, but I really like the 80s and 90s ones. And, you know, and the X-Men video games are all great. Well, not all, but, like, okay, so we're talking, like, this game, and then the Capcom games, the Capcom arcade games, and the home ports of the Capcom arcade games. They're really good. My first video game was X-Men for Sega Genesis. Shut up, Pyro. You watched Matlock today? Hell yeah. Yeah, it's MeTV. 12:40 if you're in Cortland. And it's on at 10 o'clock. And yeah, he was like on a jury. Matlock was on a jury, and he used his like super mind to get the jurors to see holes in the case against the guy. It kind of was like it reminded me of like 12 Angry Men, but more diverse, and with Matlock. You know? It was really good. Bryn Thayer, she is a good-looking chick. Actually, she started out as like this murderer, this kind of like trophy wife, glossy lipstick, shoulder pad suit wearing, you know, sexy perm murderer. And then like the next season she came back as Matlock's daughter. Matlock's like cool black friend, Conrad McMasters, he ended up going to Walker, Texas Ranger, but he is like by far my favorite character on Matlock. He's cool, man. He's like cool as hell. And you know what else is cool as hell is the soundtrack in this game. Turn this up a little bit. I don't want to wake up the family, but I actually have some of these tracks of this game on MP3 because I like it so much. My favorite song from this game is the ending song. They are happy, loving people. Move on. I want to say this game is also available at Robot City, but I'm not sure. I remember the first time I played this game was on my senior trip in West Virginia, and I was in a rainstorm and went into an arcade to basically dry off, and then ended up playing this game and beating it, and it was super fun. I mean, it was really crazy. Like, I was going golfing with my friends, and then we got stuck in a lightning storm, and I had to bail out of a, like, golf cart that was, like, going down in the rain. And then after that, I just went to the arcade and played X-Men and NBA Jam. I miss high school. Not that I'm not... I mean, as an adult, I think I'm really happy with the person I've become, and I love my family and my house. High school was super fun, though. Man, Cortland Christian Academy, that is just good freaking place, man. The people, the environment's not toxic. The teachers care about the kids. I mean, teachers care about the kids in public school, too. It's just, it's honestly, it's easier when it's a religious school, like, when you're in a public setting, you have to sometimes, you have to try to appeal to structure rather than message, and that can work and it can't work. I'm trying to say is you have to give broad principles of how to treat each other, and sometimes the deeper meaning is obscured. And people don't always understand why good reasons to not treat each other badly. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, not everyone's religious either, and you have to respect that. But, I tune into Pastor Miller's live stream every Friday. The Sentinels are getting made on their assembly line in the background. One interesting episode in X-Men was Days of the Future Past. So that was fairly different from the cartoon. And I think ultimately I like the way that the cartoon did it better. But I really do like I don't know, man. I like the comic book. I don't know. It's hard. They're both good in their own ways, but I think the cartoon's version is actually a little bit better. I mean, you get to see a little bit more of the older X-Men in the comic book, but they did a really good job with Wolverine and Bishop. Now, the live-action X-Men movies are generally terrible, I think, and I think Days of the Future Past was okay, but I hated the way they made the future look. But the thing I really liked about it was that they actually had Wolverine be the person to go back in time. Oh, that was cool. But I do like seeing old Wolverine in the future. I hated my high school. There were so many fights. A lot of the teachers really suck and didn't care if you passed or failed. That's not good. Yeah, no, I mean, fights aren't good. I've had to break up fights. It's not fun. I gotta tell you, I don't know of any colleagues of mine that they all care if they all care about passing and failing for kids. I think sometimes more than the kids, Yeah, no, I don't know. I had a really positive high school experience. I think it really contributed to the person that I became as an adult. It was like going to school in a sitcom. And it was, I mean that in a good way.
X-Men! We have been taken by Magneto. However, we had time to locate their base on Island M. Destroy it.
Alright. You have to go destroy Magneto's base on Island M. I like when they play the opening to Metal Gear Solid 2, the Solid Snake. No, not Metal Gear. Metal Gear 2, the Solid Snake. When Kitty Pryde's like, you have to rescue the professor. We're in the Savage Land, where people ruthlessly insult each other. It's interesting, in this game, the Sentinels are all like Nimrod size. You don't really get a lot of gigantic Sentinels. Capcom, it's interesting. Capcom's original Sentinel design was actually really good. They really kind of built on... They built and expanded... They utilized and then expanded upon how the Sentinels looked in the comics and cartoons. This is more loyal to how they looked in the comics and cartoons, though. It's really sad because, they had big plans for the X-Men animated series. They have a whole Marvel magazine that just goes into a lot of detail about, plans for the series. And, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just... I don't know, the pilot just... I don't know. I don't know what happened. It was really good. So I don't know if it didn't get picked up for, people didn't like it. They, there's money issues. I don't know what the deal was, but all I know is they had an awesome pilot in the 80s, in 1989, and then, it was 1992, they finally had a cartoon, and it was done by a completely different group of people. Still, an excellent cartoon, though. I will tell you, for whatever reason, they decided to make Wolverine Australian in the cartoon for some reason. It was the 80s, and Australia was all the rage, so... Ironically, Hugh Jackman, Australian. Yeah, oh, Nick, good night, man. Yes, I did... Okay, I think the best X-Men movies, in my personal opinion, were X-Men First Class and then Days of the Future Past. I thought X-Men First Class was good because I thought that movie felt like it could fit into the comic books. And I liked... I liked the prequel versions of a lot of the characters. I thought that, January Jones was really good as Emma Frost. The guy they had playing Magneto I thought was good. I liked the 1960s politics. So it was good. I liked it. Welcome to die. Days of the Future Past was cool. Wendigo, Wolverine's first appearance in Hulk 181. Days of the Future Past, I like the premise, but I did not at all like the way they made the future look in that movie. That should have looked like Escape from New York, not this weird, ethereal Mystique Sentinel place or whatever the hell they were trying to do. Thud. Think about these games. You know, when you buy them like this, the only thing preventing you from beating the game is your own determination. So you have infinite continues.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
Will do, Chuck. Wolverine's just the coolest guy ever. His design is cool, his claws are cool. I remember the first time I saw Wolverine was in a JCPenney's catalog for action figures, and he just really, something about him really stood out to me. And then I saw how cool he was in the cartoon, and I was just like, this is just like the best stuff ever. Remember like the first episode of X-Men, the animated series, and Wolverine kept going, I go where I wanna go. I mean, he said it like 5 times in every conversation he had, you know? I go where I wanna go. Wolverine, we're going to dinner. I go where I wanna go. You want to go to the Olive Garden? Yes. These bazooka juggernauts are proving to be annoying. I do like Wolverine's earth tone costume. I also like his yellow costume. I don't know which one I like better. They're both really good. Someone said I had to pick one. I would probably pick the yellow one, just because it's genuinely more, it's a little more iconic, but I gotta say, like, back in the 90s, I really preferred the 80s costumes, because they, to me, were more unique. You know, the 90s were saturated with the Jim Lee, the Jim Lee designs, which I love dearly. But I'd see, like, the Jim Lee, Rob Silvestri artwork from the 80s and those 80s costumes, and they'd really get me, like, thinking, like, oh, man, this is just awesome. Why don't they wear this anymore? Really, I think ultimately I would have been happy with variety. Like, you know, kind of, I'm going to wear my 80s costume today. But they're both really good. Yeah, I don't know. American comic books, like, I watch a lot of, like, YouTube commentary about the American comic book industry, and nothing seems particularly good. It just seems like there's just a lot of infighting and crazy politics, and all I would really, you know, I don't know. Like, I think that a big problem is there's, especially like a place like Marvel, like they put the stories spread out across too many comic books. You know, I mean, remember I had a subscription to X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and I think it was like Amazing Spider-Man back when I was in college. And it was hard to follow because I just had subscriptions to those books, and they'd like say, "Oh, if you want to see how this turns out, go buy this other comic." It's like, no, I'm not buying another comic. I'm not buying something from another series. I'm definitely not getting a subscription to another series. And quite frankly, at that point, Cortland didn't have a comic shop, and I wasn't gonna go drive to Syracuse to get that other freaking comic book if the newsstand didn't have it. So. Okay. Hey, Noel. Have you ever watched Hook Book Row? It's a Japanese children's show on NHK. I have not. My good buddy Dave, who is a wealthy engineer, just sent me something. I'll have to see what he sent afterward. Dave is hilarious. He, on the one hand, can be a snarky a-hole. On the other hand, can be one of the most generous people that you'll ever find. So, he's an interesting fellow. If you watch Peppa Pig, Grandpa Pig has a friend, Granddad Dog, and they're just these like buddies who bond through arguing. That's kind of the relationship me and Dave have. It's like friendly arguing, you know. Let's go to a coffee shop and like seemingly angrily debate things, but that's actually how they bond, you know. Nimrod. I remember when I got my first communion, my one cousin gave me $50. I went to Tony and Jerry's comic shop on Central Ave in Cortland, and with that $50, and I was like literally a kid in a candy shop, and I was so happy. And one of the things I got was a comic book with this Nimrod on the cover, and he was like fighting 80s Rogue. What is the deal with Rogue now? Like, Marvel has played up Captain Marvel so much. Like, Rogue got her powers from Carol Danvers. Like, I don't even know what's going on with that. Like, is Rogue no longer there? Is there, like, did Captain Marvel get her powers back? I mean, it seems a lot, like, at least from the commentary that I watched, like, Marvel just makes Captain Marvel really strong as kind of as part of some female affirmative action superhero type thing, you know? Kitty Pryde.
You must rescue the professor.
There's that Metal Gear music. Speaking of cool female superheroes, Storm and Kitty Pryde. She is literally the pride of the X-Men. Now, this is a game that, again, you can play with all your friends. The thing about this level here is you gotta be careful not to fall off the cliffs. Because sometimes in, you know, these beat-em-up type games, you know, it doesn't matter. The borders of the levels are just there, you know. But here you can actually fall off the borders of the level. Now, my whole thing is that I was always annoyed that Magneto was able to rip the adamantium out of Wolverine's skeleton when they had fought so many times before. So what that tells me is that, you know, adamantium must not be easy for Magneto to control. Like, he can do it if he's focused enough. But, I mean, I remember, like, I got some comics where, like, Wolverine is definitely holding his own. Emma Frost, always looking good. always thought it was weird how they like paired Cyclops with her. Like, get Cyclops, Cheetah, and Jean Grey with the White Queen. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that frees her up to be with Wolverine, who everyone really wants her to be with. I mean, if you do that, then you kind of lose that rooting for Wolverine's unrequited love situation. But, I don't know. I'm always down for the payoff also. You know, make the... Like, just because you've achieved one goal doesn't mean that you can't make the payoff work. So this like one thing that kind of bothered me about Cheers. It's like, can you just let Sam and Diane stay together without like breaking them up? And then like Shelley Long wanting to leave the show, so she can go star in Camp Beverly Hills on Beta, on Betamax. One of my all-time favorite formats. Oh no. Beta is what Snake says on The Simpsons when he's like stealing VCRs. Take a picture of myself running across my front lawn with a Beta VCR. It was a dream come true. Sentinels are apparently going to some kind of St. Patrick's Day celebration. Another really great game that I wish they would release is the Data East, the Captain America and the Avengers game. Now, I have that game on Super Nintendo, and that Super Nintendo port is really not good. Here's a big Sentinel right here. And it's spewing out all of Lady Deathstrike's minions, which is super cool. Yeah, there was a period in the late 80s where the X-Men were based out of Australia. They came from a land down under, where women go and men plunder. You better run. You better take cover. Living in the land down under.
Juggernaut will flatten you.
Juggernaut, they made him really small in Captain America and the Avengers for some reason. But they made him the right size in this game, and even more accurate to the comics in X-Men Children of the Atom. Knocked his helmet off. Professor X's psycho half-brother here. My dear stepbrother. So yeah, no, Juggernaut's Professor X's stepbrother. He's not his half-brother. Because I think Professor X's, his dad married Juggernaut's mom. And they were both already around.
X-Men, nice job. Magneto is over there. Follow me.
Aha! You fell into our trap.
Oh, you're not even a cripple. There's a really good, funny Saturday Night Live skit about the It's a Wonderful Life lost ending where all the townspeople basically go and beat the crap out of Mr. Potter. And he like tries to get up and run away, and they're like, and Jimmy Stewart's like, "You're not even a cripple." Get him. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life is easily one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a Wonderful Life, Bloodsport, and A Christmas Story are my favorite movies. Blade Runner is up there as well. So that's my top 4 favorite movies. Ah! Come on, Wolverine. I didn't get the box today. It's like, I have to get my snow tires out of my mom's garage. I just wanted you to know that about me. But I did watch Matlock, and I did do a page plus of my comic. I am on schedule. I've got about 21 pages to play with before I hit the 55-page limit. And pacing-wise, I think I'm right about where I need to be. And I do have to... So I'm basically at the climax right now, and I gotta storyboard that. Wow, Wolverine. Why did he get shot in the face? But he's got his mutant healing factor, so that's not going to keep him down. Remember the weird part when like Wolverine got his adamantium sucked out, and all of a sudden his healing factor stopped working? It's like they were just like trying to find ways to nerf him to, I don't know, make him more interesting. And all it did was piss off people like me. It's like, why are you doing this? You're ruining this character. Please stop. And they left him like that for a long time, too. It was like 4 years before he got his adamantium back. It's like, dude, what's the frickin' point? I mean, it was still, like... It was still cool, but... I don't know. It's like, let's take one of our most popular superheroes and completely screw with his powers. It's like, oh, you know what? Spider-Man, now he can't shoot webs anymore. It's like, okay. Now he's just got to throw staplers at bad guys. Come on, Wolverine. So, basically, this game, you have your X powers that you get in a limited supply. And Wolverine's is this cool laser claw thing. Which isn't, I mean, it's not really a laser claw. It's more like just the energy of how quickly he's slashing. Or maybe there's like a speed thing involved, too. Where he's kind of like dashing across. Either way. That's his deal. The energy of his claw slash covers some ground.
X-Men! Magneto is planning to attack Earth from his asteroid base. You must foil his plan before it's too late. Go after the giant sentinel.
Nice animation here. Really nice animation. I remember like a few years back, Chris Claremont had returned to Marvel and was making a comic called X-Men Forever, which, you know, sadly was not drawn by Jim Lee, but it was supposed to be what would have happened in the X-Men series had Claremont not left. And he really starts throwing some shit at the wall. Like, he usually starts doing crazy stuff to do crazy stuff, you know? Like, when I killed Wolverine in the second issue, and... like, and then... I don't know, he just was... It's ridiculous. Like, Sabretooth, like, joined the X-Men, but he was, like, blind with one hand, and he was, like, supposed to replace Wolverine, and... You could tell he was just, like... I don't know, any random thought that came into his head that was different he was doing... I mean, it was kind of like a crazy fan fiction, which I'm not using to be derogatory per se. I'm just saying that it didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to the dignity of the characters, at least from what I had read. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting series with some interesting character designs. But, like, if those were, like, legit Claremont's ideas, like, there's a reason why he was taken off the title. I had to restart my PC. Did I miss anything? Oh, just playing X-Men, talking about stuff. I was talking about Chris Claremont's X-Men Forever, which was a comic series he did probably, I'd say, maybe about 10 years or so. Not quite. Maybe like 8 years ago. Where, you know, it was supposedly his ideas for the early 90s X-Men comic that he and Jim Lee initially worked on together, and it was just filled with like insane ideas that weren't particularly good. And I was just saying that if those really were his ideas, which I don't think they were, I think he was just doing crazy stuff to do it. It would make sense that Marvel would say, we're not doing this. Especially with how popular X-Men was getting, and you want to just, like, kill off Wolverine and start fusing characters together, and... I don't know. This is interesting, because, you know, it's one of those games where there's a boss gauntlet for the final boss. Really put you through your paces here. Try to get every last quarter out of you. This is the kind of game that you'd want to go to the arcade machine with like $50 worth of quarters. And then when your pants explode, having so many quarters in them, pray that you don't get arrested for indecent exposure, and that you can stay at the arcade cabinet so that you can beat the game and see its awesome ending credits. Which are really, really fantastic. Got White Queen down. Oh, we gotta get his Bazooka Juggernaut and Nimrod down. Now, there are some people who play this that they'll just get killed and then just spam the super attack, but I don't like doing that. I want to just play to the best of my ability. Have a nice flow here.
I am Magneto. You are nothing. Ha!
Are you Magneto? Or are you Mystique? I smell your perfume. It smells like Yasso bars and pull-ups. You clearly have a 3-year-old. Magneto's going down. Or Mystique Nito. Got her.
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is in another place. Go, X-Men!
Yes, my lord. Here he is. I love the Japanese English in this game. Magneto and his freaking magnet bubble here. There's like a really funny clip on YouTube of Magneto in the 60s Fantastic Four cartoon having like a mental breakdown because he can't control the gun Mr. Fantastic is holding because the gun is made of wood. Like, look in the comment section. It's like, okay, but when they call the police, couldn't Magneto just throw the cop cars at Mr. Fantastic? It's like, they actually just did that story. I guarantee you it would sell some copies. You see how buff and cool Magneto is? You know how he, like, that looks absolutely nothing like Ian McClellan? It's because Ian McClellan was horribly cast as Magneto. If they do an X-Men movie as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they had better, and I mean better, maintain the look and feel of the 90s comic books. And have an idea as far as what the heck they're talking about. Ah, darn it. That's good. I thought that was going to do it. That should do it. Time for our beautiful, beautiful ending. I'm going to crank the volume here. Magneto is defeated. The X-Men succeed to rescue Professor and return to the Earth with victory, but still the battle against threats of evil has just begun. And then they do this great montage of 70s and 80s comic panels of X-Men. And this is, you know, when they do stuff like this, it really shows, you know, how much they really care about the product that they're making a game about. There's a real appreciation. And, you know, for me, it's like my big influences for comics is like, I mean, it's a merger of this kind of comic, this kind of 70s, 80s comic with those kinds of frames and Japanese manga designs, you know, with the where people look like 80s anime characters with big glassy eyes and, you know, noses that are, you know, have the little shadow underneath highlighted. And there's the iconic X-Men logo. And game over. Well, that brings us right to the 2-hour mark. What are we feeling, guys? Do we want to wrap it up, or do we want to do one more game? What do we think? I will leave it to the audience to decide if we want to do another game or kind of call it an evening. because we're at the 2-hour mark, and we have beaten 2 Konami classic beat 'em ups. Up to you. I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you guys. Maybe we'll just do something quick. We'll do a quick short game, and then we'll call it a night. And then I'll be back on probably Thursday or Friday. I'm always up fairly late. Do another one. Okay. Notice you tend to end a bit earlier lately. Yes. Well, I've been trying to get a little more sleep because I'm just, I've got a 3-year-old who gets up at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of the time my wife will get up with him. But like he'll get me up at like 6:30, like, and I love it. He'll like pound on my, like, get up, get up. But if I'm up till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then he's waking me up at like 6:30, and my mom is like, you're gonna get like health problems. So, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm healthy and well rested. So that's a good thing. All right. Let's play one more game. What should it be? Let's see. Go to our PlayStation triple, as Chad Warden would say. We're on that triple. Got the ABAP, baby. ABAP. As ballin' as possible. Catherine. Yo. We're not going to play this. I love Catherine, but we're just not going to... We're going to just listen to the song. Okay. We played Sonic the Fighters last time. Soul Calibur 2, HD Online, Street Fighter 3, Fight for the Future Online Edition. That could be interesting. Mortal Kombat. We always could do a Marvel versus... let's do a Street Fighter 3 online. This one's kind of weird because they got rid of the cool original rap music and then put other rap music in that's not as good. And they also decided to do new character portraits. I don't know why they did any of that. I mean, I appreciate their effort, but you got to make that stuff optional because, in my opinion, it's not anywhere nearly as good as the original. But the gameplay's, good. A lot of the stuff from the game that is good is there aesthetically. But for whatever reason, they, screwed with the opening music. And I don't particularly like those character designs. I don't hate them. I actually set the music to like the Street Fighter 1 soundtrack. There's Sean. I always find Q interesting. Let's get crazy here. Let's be Q. This game looks very nice in 3D. As you can clearly tell, I don't play much as Q. He plays like Frankenstein with a Metal Hero mask. Hard to tell whether he's a detective or an Illuminati assassin. Or G from Street Fighter V. Darn it, man, I almost had her.
Fighters ready. Engage.
Dude, I don't... Man. He is a weird playing character here. I mean, I'm used to playing as like Ryu or Ken. This guy is like very methodical with his movements here. Like, I want to do well with him, but I don't know how. There we go.
Final round. Now.
This character is, like, freaking fascinating, though. You really want to know the backstory. You know, if you like watch YouTube, there are like YouTube videos about Q, and you know they're probably right. Like the imagination of the player in terms of what the hell is even going on with Q is probably better than whatever the Capcom is going to come up with. Yeah, such pretty music. Chun-Li. I really hope they do Street Fighter 6 back to sprite-based graphics. Street Fighter 5 looked too realistic. And the new designs I didn't like. I like Street Fighter 5, don't get me wrong. It's good. And they let you have access to the good older designs, but some of the newer designs were just kind of awkward. I mean, I liked the fact that they were mixing things up, and ultimately, by the time the game was finished, it was quite good with the amount of modes that you had a nice story mode, you had a nice arcade mode with endings, you had pretty much access to the styles of gameplay of all the Street Fighters. So it was really good, and the graphics were very nice, but I think they kind of lacked a little bit of the personality of its predecessors, while still looking good.
Fighters ready. Engage.
Yeah, Chun-Li with her parries here. I mean, he's such a clumsy fighter, but I mean, it works. It's kind of like Frankenstein-style drunken kung fu. That should do it. Yes.
Final round. Go for it.
Now, in Ibuki's ending to the first Street Fighter 3, Gil talks about Project G. And then, you know, you have G in Street Fighter V, and he, you know, his story mode, he's wearing a Q mask. So it makes you wonder if Q is G. They part of the same, is it like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, or are they two kind of products of Illuminati, of the same Illuminati project? Darn it! Shay Shay. I think they referenced her being a news reporter. Nice callback to Street Fighter, the Street Fighter, the live action movie. Is interesting as Q is, I don't want to fall asleep playing his. I'm not that great with him, so we're just gonna be Ken, who I know how to play as well. The amount of animation in this game is so beautiful. Character designs are cool. Alex looking like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character crossed with Hulk Hogan, Hagar, and Terry Bogard. Ken looking like his Street Fighter the animated movie design. This game is like a moving painting. Ah! I like how Alex is so, like, jacked, but he's also pretty soft-spoken. Darn it. Man. Ah! Darn it! I almost had him. Weak. I don't lose. Alex is a protagonist for this game. I think it actually works really well. I mean, it was really good that they included Ryu and Ken, though, so you could still have the core characters in the continuity. And having the old main characters as supporting characters, I think can be a cool thing. Very smooth gameplay. Come on. Ah, jeez. Super finish, come on. Got him. Yeah. Ken is my favorite Street Fighter character. As much as I like Sean, Ken's a protege, we're going to go with Dudley, the British boxer.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Mainly because I like to box. So. I don't like to play as boxers in video games, though. Because I don't know, I get confused. It's like, I'm not good at, like, I know how to drive, but I'm not good at playing driving games. you know, I haven't had any, you know, amateur fights or anything like that, but I know how to box, and I get distracted thinking about the reality of the techniques and then like the game itself, which has got the moves, but it's like I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to when you have an idea of what the mechanics of something are like, and then you're used to playing the video game with its own mechanics. Sometimes your mind has a hard time keeping everything straight. Corkscrew punch. A guy I know just asked me this question right now. I figured it'd be a good time to ask it. You've been playing, but do you believe Smash Brothers to be a fighting game? I do believe Smash Brothers to be a fighting game. But I mean, no, it's a fighting game. It's just different. I mean, it's like a party game. I mean, Smash Brothers it's a fighting game. It's just it's got a whole different vibe in terms of its controls and its layout. I mean they have it at like, you know, like Evo and whatnot, so I mean it is a fighting game. It's a fighting game crossed with a party game and it's very iconic and it's more mainstream than a game like this, which is definitely a fighting game. I mean, this is a game for fighting game enthusiasts here. I mean, the most influential fighting game ever is Street Fighter 2. So you could argue that, you know, the closer you are to Street Fighter 2, the closer you are to being a fighting game. And there is definitely a lot of difference between Super Smash Bros. And Street Fighter 2. But yeah, I come down on the side that yes, Smash Brothers is a fighting game, but it is a very different type of game than Street Fighter. I like how Yang looks like Troa from Gundam Wing. I know I've said that in previous streams, but it's true. Ooh, Hugo or Necro? I'm gonna go with Necro. I like Necro's music, and I like St. Basil's Cathedral, and I also like the girl that runs out when you knock Necro out. Russian Dalsum here. Blanca abilities as well. Ah, darn it.
Out of my way.
Fighters ready. Engage.
Then there's also 12, the evil Illuminati marshmallow henchman that morphs into everybody and stalks Necro. Just watching a Top Hat Gaming Van video, and I'd always thought that the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game was made on Model 2 hardware for the Capcom arcade cabinets. Actually made on Model 3, so that's what Street Fighter 3 is made on. And as much as I really like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game, it looks a lot more like Darkstalkers than this game. Damn it! I was trying to hop over him, do my super move, but didn't quite work. I'm gonna be Ken again. Game looking very crisp and vibrant on our 4K TV. Every pixel visible. I watch a lot of my television on my Sony Trinitron HDMI to 480i because I just find it interesting, and also that's what I've got the Roku on. Ah! It's easy to see from the dining room as well when I draw, but I do definitely like this TV as well. It's interesting to see the HD, like the true like 4K HD, and then see the HD, you know, see how far a standard definition TV can push itself, and how good that can actually look. Gosh darn it, come on. Oof. Yeah, I'll give it another shot. This starts to drag too much, we'll have to, I don't know, wrap things up, but I think we'll be okay. Let's get it on. Oof. Come on. You gotta see how long I can spam that move. Come on! Oof. Got him. All right. I mean, that type of match you had right there, like, you'll never have a match. I don't think you'll ever have a match like that in Smash Brothers, but again, it's its own type of fighting gameplay. More mainstream, less technical, but, you know, I mean, it is a fighting game. Tomorrow night is AEW Wrestling, my favorite show on American TV. And there's my favorite thing to do is knocking out a computer opponent. The spirit of a fighter to be one of the best. It's interesting to see all that text because it's very obscured on a standard definition TV. Let's fight a Goofy.
Are you ready? Go.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike opted for a lot more kind of nature backdrop levels that didn't have crowds. Normally, Street Fighter games kind of make a name for the, one of their kind of hallmarks is having people in crowds in the background, but this game tends to go for the more artsy nature backdrops, creating atmosphere. Ah, darn it.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Yeah, I've been streaming for about 2.5 hours here. I'll dodge that bullet, or shuriken, as the case may be. Come on. There we go. I hate doing dragon punches from the right side. I'm left-handed, and I just always find it difficult. Shouldn't have crowded her so much there. Man. Ah, crap. There we go. Well done.
You win.
Man, love me some good Street Fighter. And I like everything about this game. It's like, it's art, it's fighting, it's timing, it's gaming, it's very easy. It's just a great game to get sucked into, and did okay. The other cool thing about this game is its heavy utilization of rap music. Ooh, Chun-Li or Akuma. That was Chun-Li. Old friends here. If you follow the Street Fighter 2v lore, which I do. I really think that Street Fighter V, they did that Fall of Shadows story mode. It would have been, I think, a lot better if they had opted for the more anime style look for that. I know that's kind of unreasonable to ask, but I don't know. I think the story would have been better if they had more of this style of graphics. And Chun-Li is being a freaking pain. That is about as bad as that could have gone. Yatta. Street Fighter 4 and 5 have a very goofy, wonky art style, in my opinion. Noel didn't want to smoke that Akuma. Alright, True Sinister. We're gonna do some Akuma, and welcome to the stream, my friend. We'll go get some go-key action here. Some moody Japanese forest action here. With Ryu's possible demon-possessed father. He's not demon-possessed. He's just so brutal he's become a demon. How do you like that? Come on! Darn it! You parrying bastard! Ugh. No! Ah! That was a whole bad situation there. Now I don't know whether to fight Akuma to redeem myself or Chun-Li again. Alright, we'll go against Akuma one more time. All the time with Ken, I tend to work the fierce attacks more, which might not be the wisest idea. Come on, they should have knocked him out. Dude, you have got to be freaking kidding me. He's got no health. Just imagine if Shin Akuma was in this game. Yeah, that would not be good. He's trying to lure him into the corner for like chip damage. Maybe this is Shin Akuma. Probably should just go back to fighting Chun-Li. I mean, part of me is like I have my honor, and then another part of me is like I am not going to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning fighting a Kuma. Although, with the way things are going now, I'm going to be up until 3 o'clock in the morning fighting Chun-Li. I have no idea what time it is. There's no clock in here. Time and space are a mystery to me. Looks like you got robbed. Let's see what happens when you get to Gil. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen when I get to Gil. Resurrection! What type of games do you guys like seeing me play the most? I mean, I have a nice variety of games here, so I like to try to play them all, but I feel like, you know, I'm probably like the best at the fighting games. And those are probably the most fun to watch. Because, I mean, if you guys just want me to, like, focus more on fighting games, I can easily do that. There we go. I don't care. Give me a big old piece of cheese for that. It's $12.39. These work best. Interesting. Okay, I'll give you guys. I'll happily do more fighting games on the stream. I mean, I won't only do fighting games because I've got, you know, lots of different types of games, but we'll try to weight it heavier toward fighting and then pepper in some other fun stuff as well. The good thing is he passed out in between her legs, so I'm sure he enjoyed that. Man! Come on, man! That's some nonsense. Bro, go the freak down. There. Jeez, I'm criminy. I'm primarily on here for the anime content. Anything works just as long as you enjoy yourself playing the game. Cool. Alright. Well, I'll kind of follow my heart. But keep in mind that fighting games are highly enjoyable. I'll follow my heart, but keep in mind that the audience seems to really enjoy watching the fighting games. Which, I mean, for me, fighting games are my favorite games to kind of pick up and play. But at the same time, you know, I think about playing other games and all that kind of stuff too, so... Or I get psyched getting, like, you know, Famicom games or Mega Drive Sega games kind of thing, so... Genesis games. Ah! Oh, come on! It's giving me some really nice music. How the freak is he, like, falling in between moves on my super move?
Final round.
Ken's got his violent Ken hair color here. But he's friendly Ken. I gotta do like a Street Fighter 6 where Ryu teaches Alex the Hadoken. Come on. Yes! The old standby. Fierce kick to the face. Peaceful Ken. This is Ken's ultimate power. Peaceful Ken. He's like violent Ken, but he's just, you know, very mellow and personable. It's Urian. You're not quite what I expected. But you sure do have the face of a fighter. Behave yourself. I am destined to become king of the new century. You should thank me for using you as my entertainment. Keep talking like that, and I'll do much more than entertain you. I really like Urian when he's get ready to die. So, Urian and Gil clearly pillar men from JoJo. Urian's name should be Santana. Or Wamu. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. Darn it, I choked. It's a bargain basement, Gil.
Are you ready? Go.
I do like Urian's design. That's stupid. Oh! I didn't realize that what that super move actually did. That shield was actually a mirror for projectiles. Got him, alright. I don't even know what this is set at. What? Oh, what the freak? Do your super move! Darn it! That is one of the coolest victory poses I've ever seen. I was trying to... No, I didn't want to choose random... Dude, interesting back and forth between Remy and Alex. I did not mean to choose Remy. I have not played as Remy very much. I know he plays basically like Guile. Guile is kind of like a shoujo character, basically. Loser. So he's basically like Benimaru Pornolef with Guile's moves. He's not Yuri Yagami. Ah! I'm not good with him. Alright. Come on. Okay, back to Ken. Okay. Peaceful Ken is going up against Pillar Man Santana, the Bargain Basement Gill. And this guy Kevin Nash right there. What is this set at? Like, I feel like I normally kind of just cruise through fighting games because I set them at a fairly low level. Maybe this is just at a low level and it's just being hyper competitive. Bro, do your freaking super move! Man, I'm hitting like double Hadouken and... Oh, you know why it's not doing it? Because I changed my super move. That was my bad. That is a better super move. There we go. Fell for the old Sagat trap. I wish Hogan's finger poke of doom was put in this game. I like the interview that Hogan and Nash did after that. Nash was like, I almost died. go.
You win.
Peaceful Ken wins. Fatality. I actually was a big fan of the finger poke of Doom. It gets a bad rap. The only problem with the finger poke of Doom was like there was no payoff to the story. Like I like the idea of Hogan being the champ and Nash being the leader because the Wolfpack and Hollywood couldn't there was no way either side could win, so there was a compromise of Nash being the champ, Nash being the leader, Hogan being the champ. The mark of my deity shall scar thy DNA. Cryokinesis.
Before your master. Are you ready? Go.
Damn, is there a sinister thing? I hated after the NWO reunited. I hated after the end. Imagine if Hogan's Doom was in the game. I hated after the NWO reunited. After it gradually disappeared, that was the warm up. Yes. No, I thought the NWO reuniting made sense. I thought that the Wolfpack Hollywood story made sense if they were going to give the NWO its own show. NWO reunited, the Wolfpack Elite I actually liked because Hogan was in it. I'm a big Hogan fan. The good news is it looks like he doesn't have Resurrection, which is good. The bad news is I just missed my super move there. Darn it.
Before your master.
Everyone teaming up on Nash. I don't remember that. I mean, I might remember it. I'm just might be blanking on it.
Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought WWF was the inferior product. I think they had some really good writing at times, but overall, I just always thought WCW had a better roster. I like their formula better too. WCW was less about getting cheap, cheap heat or cheap pops, Ah! He's gonna try to counter that.
Kneel before your master. Prepare to strike. Now.
I kind of remember that. Come on, man! Trying to go for the super move there. I just remember Sid's leg breaking in the ring. That was not good, man. That was one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life. This was the deal, man, with WCW. Is like, they really should have just given NWO its own show. or had NWO win or NWO lose, you know, like the fact that they just kind of faded it out. I mean, like turning Hogan face red and yellow is cool, but they should have done it in a way where he was, I think, still Hollywood Hogan and not just kind of playing his 80s character. I mean, I like his 80s character, but it should have made sense. And the thing is, like, having Sting be the bad guy made less sense because, I mean, I still liked it, but Sting being the bad guy didn't make any sense because, like, Hogan was the bad guy that tortured Sting. So, of course, it would make sense for Sting not to like Hulk and not to trust Hulk as a good guy. Plus, Sting is just really hard to have as a heel because he's so likable. But honestly, I think a lot of WCW's problems creatively have been overblown, number one. And number two, I think that they stemmed from Eric Bischoff having a hard time just dealing with all of the nonsense. I'm going to try Alex. Dealing with all the nonsense in terms of professional wrestlers not behaving backstage, and then worst of all, just not having corporate support. You know, because, you know, I was, you know, like, him getting intimidated by Vince McMahon copying his formula well, that really shouldn't have fazed him, you know, because all he had to really do is just keep doing what was working and advance the stories and book the talent properly. And then what Vince McMahon would have looked like is a, you know, what it was early on was just like a knockoff WCW. I mean, he had, like, good, you know, there was, like, some good, unique writing, like with Austin and DX. I felt like bad WCW was still... Yeah, it was. And bad WCW was still entertaining to watch. I mean, like, take a look at WCW in, like, 2000, when everyone says it was so terrible. You had the Millionaires Club, you had G.I. Bro, you had 3 Count and Tank Abbott. I mean, I looked forward to Nitro every week. I was shocked when Vince McMahon showed up. Because I legit, like, I had no idea. It was surreal seeing Vince McMahon on there. Well, apparently he could escape. And did. Man, we gotta get him. I mean, if this starts getting, like, really long, or, you know, the phone starts flaking out, then we'll have to, you know, wrap this up. I would like to beat Gil, though. We've come this far. Wild Kinesis. Oof. Come on. Ah, darn it. I had a heart attack seeing Vince on Nitro. Yeah, it was crazy. It was sad, you know. I mean, it really is an indictment of the claim that Vince McMahon is some kind of genius, that he could not properly book a W. He had literally everything going for him, and he screwed up the WCW invasion angle so badly. Like, I understand, like, you had wrestlers that were under, you know, still getting, you know, guaranteed money that weren't showing up. But you know, two things. Number one, you know, Vince McMahon is always about what's best for business. Then you got to buy out those contracts and get some major players on TV. So that's one thing. The other thing is, even if you are going to try to work with what you got, he worked with it so poorly. Resurrection. Darn it! Austin turning heel right after also sucked. Gil, yeah, I know. I thought Austin turning heel was kind of funny, honestly. I liked Steve Austin being in love with Vince McMahon. Like, there's a really, I remember it was like really funny when, like they did this thing where like rather than like beating up Vince, like Stone Cold would hug him, and like the camera like panned over both of their shoulders when that was happening one time, and it was like Vince McMahon had this really troubled look on his face, and then Steve Austin was just like had this really intense, bizarre, bug-eyed look. It was interesting. I thought it was like, I mean, everyone's I respect your opinion for sure, but I just thought it was funny seeing Austin doing comedy. I was never an Austin fan, so I just, oh, come on. Got him, alright. Finally. I was never an Austin fan, because I always thought Austin was like Jerry Springer, kind of. It was kind of interesting to see the Jerry Springer working, you know, working class dude walking around in some kind of like pseudo-satanic apocalypse, like just trying to make sense of this crazy world. Like, that was some good writing, but ultimately I thought that Austin's character was pretty shallow. I thought Hogan's character and Sting's character had much more interesting psychology to them. Got him. Thank you. We beat the game. Ironically, he was called the Ringmaster. Yeah. And stunning Steve Austin. I'm a big Ted DiBiase fan. Here we go. Shoryuken. He doesn't seem to be getting back up. The battle is over. Showing the strength that we've come to expect, the winner is Ken, the U.S. champion 3 times in a row. This is an exciting moment for Ken's family and friends. See, I knocked him out in 30 seconds as I promised. Oh yeah, Sean, here you go. This is for you. The U.S. Championship trophy. You wanted it, right? Master, that's not what I meant. It's meaningless if I didn't win it with my own effort. Oh, is that so? You shouldn't be too worried about that. At the very least, you must pass the qualifying rounds next time. But you won't be the winner since you can't beat me. Ha ha. Aw. Alright. Damn, Noel, that was good right there. Thank you. D+. Is better than that. But it is what it is. Yeah, you liked how I interrupted that resurrection with my super move? Good stuff. Alright. King of Vegas. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Actually, you're coming into the stream right as we're wrapping it up, but we just beat Street Fighter 3 Third Strike on the PlayStation 3, so this is actually the online edition. Because I wasn't too much of a fan of the U.S. champion, just like Steve Austin, yes. Yeah, right when he beat Sting and Bandit Keith, absolutely. Yeah, I remember like Sting, didn't Austin get hurt beating Sting for the belt in Japan, and that's why, and then he ended up getting fired because he was being kind of a pill to Bischoff when Bischoff was trying to bring him back to do like promos on Saturday night. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, hey, yeah, King of Vegas, welcome. So we just beat the online edition of Street Fighter 3, featuring some music from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. No, Street Fighter 3 New Generation. This is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike with some music from Street Fighter 3 New Generation, and then some like different character portraits and whatnot. Duggan squashed Austin. I have zero problem with that, because, I mean, like, yeah, listen, Hacksaw is cool, man. He was over, and, you know, I mean, maybe I have a little bit of a problem with it being a squash, because I gotta tell you, like, I liked Stunning Steve Austin, kind of. I thought he was kind of like a cool heel, but I was all about Hogan, and I thought that Duggan was charismatic, and I liked him. So I don't know. I mean, I thought Stunning Steve Austin was cool. I honestly, I don't know, man. I never really got on the Steve Austin bandwagon, and like, he's good. Like, Steve Austin got himself over and played his role very well and really connected with fans. So I take nothing away from Steve Austin. For me, I was always a Hogan guy in WCW, as evidenced by the fact that I own the Hulk Hogan Thunder Mixer, quite possibly the greatest invention ever made. Like, this thing right here will give you all kinds of nutrition. Well, you know why there's no yawning right now or anything? Because I am pumped up with the power of Hulkamania and Pastamania and Thunder Mixer Mania, which is so much better than either Stunning or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right here, the power of the Thunder Mixer. And that's also why Austin was afraid to fight Hogan at WrestleMania. Unrelated question, you ever went to message? I did. So I used to actually go to the Adult Swim message boards back in, like 2003, 2004. I used to go to the Adult Swim message boards, maybe 2005. It was fun until it wasn't. Nice. Yeah, I saw a stream in my sub box. I think I subbed to this channel like 8 years ago because you posted some old music or something. You'll have to tune into these streams more. Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely do try to post some obscure music. I think the most obscure thing I've posted recently is the background song to a Gene Hackman Kirin Beer commercial from Japan. So go on my channel and check that song out. And yeah, my highest rated video, it's got like over 100K, is actually, I'm pretty sure it was the first I know I was the first person to upload this, is Ambiance's Japanese opening to X-Men. And I actually have the DVD single for it. But yeah, I used to go to the Adult Swim message boards, and then I actually used to go to some art message boards. I used to compete in the Tokyo Pop Rising Stars of Manga contest. That was my first time ever drawing manga, and my work was not good. Definitely it was not good, but I had a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and a lot of bright colors that didn't match. The people on the message boards could be nice and helpful sometimes, but I think the majority of the time they were just kind of smug and elitist, and just, I don't know, I don't know, man. It was weird. Like, all they did was just keep saying, go get figure drawing lessons, and it's like, oh, whoa, I'll just go get a pony while I'm at it too, It's like I understand, but it was, I don't know. Posting your art on message boards, I don't particularly recommend, because you want to get good feedback, and you're not going to get good feedback a lot of the time doing that. You're going to get snarky comments. But the other time too, what you might do also is you'll get comments that might just be blowing smoke up your butt too, because someone just might like your stuff too much, like, I don't know, man. Art criticism and the internet, I don't think go together. So I think the best thing you can do is, if you can, take art classes if you can find them. If not, just practice find a variety of sources of inspiration and learn life drawing, figure drawing, and perspective. And I'm definitely not any grandmaster at any of those things, but I feel like I've got some skills in all of those things. And just try to find stuff that inspires you and practice a lot. And that's the advice I would give. I would never go to someone's art on a message board and shit all over it, though. If someone posted something, I would be positive and look for positive things in it, and then look for ways that it can improve, and then try to give positive reinforcement back to it. Because if you've got, guts enough or balls enough to go start posting your art online, that in and of itself is laudatory. And I gotta tell you, I remember I was really enthusiastic, and I posted a work that I had got published in a magazine. It was An America Extra, and it was this Fushigi Yugi fan art. It wasn't very good, but it got an An America Extra, and I remember, actually I think I've got it right here. I remember I posted it, and some people were just being really assholes. And then, a couple other guys were like, screw you guys. It's this kid actually got, I wasn't a kid, I was 18, 19. And, it was more 19, 20. Just reminded me of that picture of Sonic everyone made fun of. Which picture is that? I don't remember. Is it, the Sonic one, or, I don't know. Yeah, hang on. I'll find that picture. I'll find that fan art here because I've got it. You can kind of see how much I've changed or haven't changed. I don't know. Okay, so this will be our final thing we do before we, I guess, turn in for the night. So this right here is Sonic. Yeah. This right here is An America Extra. So this is one of my... I think I talked on the stream about how I had subscriptions to Marvel Comics and I didn't like them because it's really hard to keep track of anything. So this is An America Extra. This is one of my favorite things that I had subscriptions to. I look forward to this every month. So we'll... let me turn the camera stand around. Okay, so... Ooh. Speaking of Sonic, right here, I got my Sonic shirt on, so, ta-da. Alright, so, where is that? So this had, Fushigi Yugi, and I was a big fan of Fushigi Yugi from the International channel. So, where's that fan art? Ooh, Video Girl Eye, that is a good. I think it's even worse when you have adults. Yeah, what the freak? Definitely, man. And it's I watch a lot of these YouTube commentary channels, which I probably shouldn't, because I think a lot of the time they're just giving unnecessary attention to crappy, idiotic behavior just so they can have content for their channels. What I really like to watch are people Guy Jillionaire and Kenny Lauderdale and Kid Shoryuken and Patman QC, but the thing is, when you have good YouTubers who take time to actually make their content, there's fewer things of theirs to watch, and then you have these commentary channels that have some reasonably intelligent analysis, and they're just pumping out multiple videos, and it's just oh, I'll see what they're saying right now. And yeah, they just give a lot of attention to stupid people, and sometimes when they're doing that, it's it's adults mocking children on An America Extra and Otaku News magazines. Cool, man. Fan Art Gallery 115. Banana Fish. Gakt's favorite manga. Yeah, here it is. So this was my, if you look down here where it says Kyo Koizumi, this was my fan art here. And I was very proud that I finally got this in the magazine. You can see that, I don't know, I mean, this is my art style here, and a lot of the time when I, uploaded stuff, it would be, louder colors that kind of clashed, because I hadn't had design class yet, and so I didn't really learn my color wheel. But, yeah, this was a picture, and it got in there, and so I was super happy about it. And then, people were, just, I don't know, just kind of being, pretty toxic about it on the message board. But then there were also some other people that were actually, really supportive. And we're hey, congratulations, man. There's some people that, never get published. So, this is my fan art here. Take it for whatever it's worth. This was back in 2000 and... when was this magazine? I bet it was 2004. No, 2003. 073. So this was back in 2003. So let me try to find some newer art, and you can see how much I have or haven't changed. You know? So I'm making a manga. So I'll pull some pages here. And again, we'll just take it for whatever it's worth. So this right here that's as old as me. That picture is as old as Dakota. Here, I'll take this in the other room. All right. So this is the manga I'm working on. Hopefully it, works out, but probably won't. But nothing else. So, all right. Here's one page I finished today. It's okay. So what's happening what's going to happen right here? So this is basically all about a fighting tournament on a college campus. So we basically this is like a women's history seminar. I was the only guy in a women's history seminar. So like in her book Off to the Races, Progressive Era Horse Racing Sex Workers, Reproductive Autonomy and Agency in Rural Indiana, would it be right to argue that the author states that Indiana sex workers use their agency to impose their heroic will on a random contingent world filled with patriarchy to effect change over time? Of course! And then you have, the one girl, nodding approvingly and the professor. And then, so basically, this is the page before that. So next day at the women's history seminar, and I don't know, that looks like Dr. Disrespect right there. And then some pretty ladies and Hulk Hogan. And then here's the main character, he's gonna put a spider in that classroom. And then, so actually, this right here, these characters are definitely inspired by real life classmates of mine and professors of mine. And that expression over there, that's usually the expression I had in class right there. So I don't know, man. This is some current, work, and I don't know. And I like to do little commercials in the comic as well. So this right here is a take on the Japanese Game Boy commercial. And in the commercial, the Game Boy is backlit, but in real life, Game Boys aren't backlit. So they throw the Game Boy at a bear that's attacking them, and then the batteries drop in the fire, and then the forest catches on fire. And this here is some more stuff. These are the two main characters. One of them is an angel, and the other's an undercover detective. And there's a morbidly obese cat, and then there's a women's history student that looks like Ronda Rousey that was inspired by Abby from The Last of Us. So, good. I'm glad you like the humor. I don't know. It's just me, man. That's my. That's just what I'm just trying to. I'm in my head as I've got this story out, and it's just I'm just mashing up stuff that I like, fighting movies, sitcoms, philosophy. I like to try to do a lot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style poses. I'll get I'll just get JoJo's Bizarre Adventure pictures. I'd say my biggest influences artistically are Akira Toriyama, Hirohiko Araki, Roy Lichtenstein, and Jim Lee. And Archie ComiX, 1980s OVA manga from AIC, that kind of thing. So, yeah, man, for sure. I want to have fun, and I want to produce good-looking artwork that people enjoy, and tell a story that is, both funny, absurd, and has degrees of depth to it as well, philosophically, and is also, just entertaining and self-expressive. So that's what I'm going for. And that's just, kind of where my art was in 2003. That's just those are comic pages. If you want to see some art of mine, actually, I've only got 15% battery life, but I've actually got some prints in the cabinet here. I sell these artworks at comic shows. So, you know, this right here is Chun-Li. So this is a Chun-Li I drew. This is probably my most famous one. This is actually on the channel. This is an X-Men that I play. That's on the channel. It's playing the X-Men opening, the Japanese X-Men opening behind it. Am I a hypocrite or weird that I love Dragon Ball yet also love tearing it apart for the plot holes and stuff? Yes, you're a terrible person. There's no plot holes in Dragon Ball. It's just all part of the universe. Actually, speaking of Dragon Ball, here's a Trunks slicing Frieza right here. Dragon Ball and JoJo. That's my shit, man. That's some good stuff. This is a mermaid I drew. I drew this a while back. This was like 2011. So, and this is a one that is on the channel too, is Wolverine kissing Marvel Girl. So, yeah, so there's my artwork, there's my comics. So, you know, just onward and upward. You know, definitely I'm checking out the work that's getting submitted to that Shonen Jump contest, and it's definitely getting, you know, it's getting real, man. But, like, you know, so some of the stuff's, like, really accomplished. But, I mean, my whole thing is I just figure it's like, look, I mean, I know I've got some talent, and I'm just going to do my... Like, it's better to just be unique and be best at being unique and push yourself as hard as you can go. I still have that one that you signed and made for me. Yes. Very cool. I mean, it sucks because I was going to do the other Comic-Con at the Cortland Comic Shop, and then, you know, the quarantine hit, so we had to do it all digitally. So, I mean, that was nice, but it wasn't, you know... I now I want to watch the American dub of Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, it is. It's like it is. Those like early Funimation dubs are wonky for sure. I think my favorite Yu Yu Hakusho is the one where like the ghost of Yusuke helps Kuwabara study for a test that a corrupt a teacher like really hates him, but Kuwabara like is gonna pass his test anyway, and the ghost of Yusuke helps him study. It's good stuff. So. Alright, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. Damn it. Alright, it's 1:25. I'm going to bed. So, it's been fun. So, hope you enjoyed the artwork. Hope you enjoyed the video games. We beat Street Fighter 3, and we beat X-Men, and we beat The Simpsons. So, you should all feel accomplished. Thank you for watching. My next stream will probably be on Thursday. Good night. We'll get some rest. And thank you for watching. Thanks again. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, so I don't know. Just, you know, keep an eye on your YouTube channel. I don't stream on a particular schedule, but I do tend to stream a couple, you know, three. I don't know if I'll be streaming like 3 times a week or 2 times a week, but, almost fell asleep a couple of times. Yeah, so, I mean, plan on me streaming a couple times a week, and we'll have fun. And, you know, I usually try to start the stream between 9:30 and 10, depending on my son. Either way, thanks so much for your friendship and your comments and your views, and until next time, I'm just beginning my shift. I'm sorry. So good luck on your shift. Watch lots of the Noel ComiX YouTube channel to really help boost your spirits as you plow through the midnight hours. Cool. All right, until next time, guys, I'm Noel. Thanks again for everything. Tune in for more live streams and cool original content, and I will see you in the very near future. Bye-bye.